Thanks for tuning. Today I want to discuss about something that is really important to me, is motorbikes. I spend my life in this passion, and differently than other, I always enjoy whatever is having an engine. I couldn't care less if it was a sport, custom, whatever, enduro, motocross, whatever. So you'll I'm astonished by the amount of rubbish that I see on YouTube in terms of suggestion to people approaching motorbikes. And I'm really scared to see how many wrong suggestions are also based on the fact that right now there is a lot of electronics on motorbikes that save them because you can buy 200 horsepower motorbike and have the rain map on and have less power. The day that we do the wrong selection, you'll find them hanging on a tree. And I do see a lot of suggestion also on how to choose a motorbike, how to drive and stay on the motorbike itself. And these suggestions are just wrong. So I'm not a troll. I don't like to comment on video of somebody else. I do know the efforts, and I do know that everybody is having different experience. But it's also funny people that trust others also with statement like I drive for 30 years. I do, but it's not the reason why you should listen to me. You should listen to me because during this video I will challenge topics and make you thinking about it. And you'll be the only judge. I'm not a doctor. I'm talking about a lot of things but I'm not having any professional title to express a professional opinion. I just put passion on everything I do, and motorbike is on the top list in my life. So let's start from scratch. How to choose a motorbike? A lot of people tell you based on what you do. No, it's based on your body. So you need to understand that it's not a car, it's a motorbike. You drive with your body. If you are not choosing the right bike for your body, you'll be always in trouble because you need to adapt your body. And so there is people that love a certain type of motorbike and does an investment also on be better on fitting that bike, but generally speaking is not what is happening. In this video, I will not try to push you on which bike is better. I will try to give you a way of thinking. And what I tell you in this video is valid if you want to buy a moped or if you want to buy a super bike. So let's start. Your body. Each position on a motorbike is different based on the type of bike. The spine position is generally the main difference between the bikes. You should never just jump on a bike and thinking that is the right position for you, because at the time that you jump on the bike, fresh will not be the same body position that you have after miles and miles on motorway. So one of the mistakes that I see many, they buy enduro, Parigi-Dakar kind of bikes, but when they drive, they don't force themselves to keep the right body posture, and after many miles, they have a spine that is a parenthesis. That is really bad for the back. So think when you jump on the bike also on how you feel when you'll be tired. So the right way is to jump on the bike without muscle, like you are water. If you feel something that is starting to stretch, means that probably you are not having enough work on your body posture or on your body structure for that bike. Second thing is really important that you look after how you handle the bike. So the biggest mistake that I see, even more people driving the scooter, is to keep the elbow locked. So if you keep the elbow lock, you always close also the scapula. This position means that whatever vibration you have on the handle can't be absorbed. And so it's having an impact on the dynamic of the bike itself. So even if you drive a T-Max, whatever, if you keep that position, you'll always contract the muscle and they will not be ready in case of emergency. It will be tiring you, but more than everything, you will absorb all vibration at the scapula. Not even the elbow, you'll feel it, but most on the scapula. So having an enduro or a sport bike and having that stupid position make you to be a danger for the road users as well. Because in case of emergency, when you are locked, you have minimum kind of way. Because try to move and see if you don't lock the scapula, how much movement you have than having the scapula locked. So this doesn't matter. Even a moped, don't drive in that way. It's stupid. And I see so many videos with that kind of posture. That's even worse when you are on a sport bike because you bought a naked bike. You are still anyway a bit loaded in front. So the problem there is that the scapula retract even more. And the weight on the long run will screw your shoulder as well. And so choose the bike for which position you can stand. So sit on the bike like you are water and keep always an angle on your elbow. Try to see how it is. Soft wrist and trying to check if you can make it. If you want a sport bike, still an angle you need there and scapula never locked. Also, when you brake, the fact that you lock the elbow doesn't let you to push the bike away. And so what is happening is you don't have room to push it away and you just leave the bike opening the hands. And you leave everything to physics. You are not actually doing something in emergency. So I'm touching the topic of the upper body because it is obviously the most important, but it's not the only one. Now we will talk also about core and legs. So choose the bike for a position that you can maintain on the long run. Don't change the body position with the kilometers. It's the reason why if you take a long sport tourer like a VFR and everything was having that posture that was keeping the spine always in the same position and absorbing any kind of vibration or problem. It's based on your preferences, but if you take a sport bike, you need also to consider that when you push and the load is going to overload your forearm, your shoulder, your scapula. So you need the flexibility and movement and be fitted. If you don't, you can take 200 horsepower of motorbike like that. And if you do, and you want to, be aware, be humble, and work on it. Your body adapt to whatever you decide. But don't go on internet on all these training program rubbish trying to tell you that you need to be a bodybuilder. There is no pilot that is big. They are really well defined. They invest in agility, mobility training, and strength. And so it's not about how big it is. More muscle you have, more blood you need into those muscles. So stop to listen all these genius around telling you that you need to become a bodybuilder for that. It's not going to work. And actually, you are going to increase also some strength on the neck and everything. You need muscle, and I will touch the neck because it is an important conversation. So if you lock the elbow, especially when you are in an emergency brake, because you are scared and you go behind, you have a problem. You are moving the neck at the end of on the opposite direction. You will not let you to push the bike, the side stuff, you'll not have mobility, you are just hoping. That is not a good stuff in emergency. When you do that, if you become even straighter, if you bounce in something, you do what is called an high side. So you fly over. More your spine is straight, more the risk that you land on the neck. And that's the reason why motocross, enduro, everything is using the neck brace. And the neck brace is avoiding the whiplash of the neck and is avoiding that kind of problem. But if you notice, in sport bike you don't use it because the position is different and you stay more in front. You generally land with completely different rotation in somehow. So think about is just thinking. Think of the reason why some things are right for enduro and are not right for sport bikes. So if you care, neck is really the key core things of your safety. So look after that. You need muscle because those protect, but you need also to avoid to have a stupid position as well. So I'm not a doctor. I don't have a full knowledge on all angles, and the variables are too many to talk about. Sometimes you need to be lucky. So it's the reason why you can't trust somebody that tell you, I drive for so many years. You could have been just lucky. You could drive really badly and just have been lucky so far. Or, like they say in track days, you probably don't go too fast to check your limit. Obviously, I'm talking only about track days in an environment with that target. So when you finish to think about the neck, the elbow, and the things that you need to be comfortable in that position and never lock that, we need to talk about the core. Core is extremely important, but back is protecting also your spine. And so if you think our muscle are extremely front facing, back is really difficult to have muscle. But if you see somebody with muscle on the back, you see that is actually protecting a bit also the spine. You always need a back protector, and that has to be a level 2 because we are in 2021, and if you buy a level 1, it's so stupid. But it's even more stupid if you buy an airbag because they tell you that the airbag protect 11 times more than the back protector, but you don't have nothing else as a backup. Because if you have an electronic airbag as a jacket and it doesn't inflate, you should have anyway a back protector because it will save you, probably, and I hope. But that is the point. There are certain products that don't have that and others that do. And so if you need, always think. If a product doesn't have it, it doesn't mean that you can't wear one. I'm not here to promote any kind of product. I'm not here even to talk about my preferences on motorbike choices and other stuff. I'm trying to give you the idea of how to think about these things. Second, is extremely important that you do squat. You do squat. And the reason is because I see too many dragging right to left, moving. You should put the weight on your foot peg, lift and move. The reason is you don't shake the bike and you are not going to create those kind of shaking effect to the bike too. So you need to be smooth. I see bear moving right to left and the bike starting to shake. Even in track days, that is not smart. So it's more, you feel more the fatigue, but you have to do it. And another thing that people don't talk about is how much the foot peg save you. So if you are in a motorway, so let's put it that you are driving slowly on a motorway, but anyway at a decent speed. If you put just a teeny bit of weight on the foot peg, you see the bike going straight on the side of the foot peg. You see the same if you start to push on a handle. And you see when you go for courses that they teach you how to push the handle. I don't want to talk about it because I risk to influence, and it's also based on which bike you use. And so I'll not give you a rule in general, because you need to adapt also your style to the bike that you use. And sometimes old biker like me have his own style and feel more confident in another bike because they grew up with that. So you need to think this stuff. So quad are really important. It's completely different if you are doing motocross, and the preparation of motocross, it does have way more muscle into the legs because they do a lot of standing as well. But generally speaking, have the quad kind of power to lift a bit, tiny bit. I'm not saying that you need to lift, but always think, even if you drive a moped, just push on a foot peg, you'll see. Other stuff, I see people doing video and anyway showing that they look at the inside of a band. It's stupid. Stupid for two reasons. When the posture on during a band, a curve, has to be always dynamically right. And so if you look at the end of a band, you'll have control of what is happening in front of you, first of all. Secondary, your shoulder will not close inside the band, and will not change your load into your butt as well. And so it doesn't make any sense for physics to have this position that looks cool because you enhance the band and so you feel cooler, but you actually go slower. You don't have control of what is happening, and you shouldn't do a video because it's terrible the way how you drive. So there is no track day course, whatever, go for the moped course. They need to tell you to look at the end of the band, never inside, never. So this position looking at your feet to check how cool you are, no, it's not right. Secondary, if you have a sport bike, you should never go forward too much. And so you are not a MotoGP that need to hang outside. So in a normal sport bike, 1 liter, you never find those situation of centrifugal energy that need your entire body outside. So it's the new style of MotoGP, but it shouldn't be your style in street. So if you are inspired by video of MotoGP, you should drive a MotoGP, because the normal sport bikes suppose that you have maximum the side of a seat on the half of your arse. Only that. Sorry for my French, but it is the only way to do it, because I see too many hanging outside and they look like a windsurfer when they use all weight to. It's dangerous. You change the dynamics, but you need to be also extremely fitted with the legs to come back in and have a movement. So it's okay for track. I do understand the dynamic in track, but when I see somebody in street do that, I'm seriously wondering how dangerous it is. Because if you need to do an emergency maneuver and you are an emergency move and you are so far away from the center of a bike, you can't even push on your foot peg, because your external foot peg will not have enough footprint to do it. So don't do it, or at least go and do it a course where they teach you to do it. And actually you should have also completely different kind of style, and probably you not see this kind of video. but is to explain that don't use as a reference what you see on track days. In the same way that if you start motocross or enduro, you'll not look at the championship because it's a bit tiny difference. Everybody is having also a style of drive and put his own style based on the bike that is driving and his own body. Each pilot now is heavily investing in training. It's not a car. If you want to drive a motorbike and be unfitted, it's your choice, but still valid the meaning to choose the motorbike based on your body. So, to close, another things that I see a lot of attention on what you wear, and it's perfect. But later on, I see all around people hanging with a Christmas tree as helmets. They stick stuff to the helmet. So now I'm Mr. Nobody to say what you should or shouldn't do because at the end it is your life and your neck. But you spend money for an helmet, but he wasn't aware of what you were sticking into the helmet. So if you stick a Bluetooth receiver that is 3 centimeters wider and all safety of an helmet is based on rotation on the neck, and so the fact that decrease the acceleration when your head is like an egg rolling around. At the time that find the Bluetooth into the rotation is obviously changing that dynamic. So it means that you don't think about physics because is your head and your neck into that is what you want? Because I see a lot of people also with camera and all other stuff hanging. If you want a Bluetooth receiver, there are models that include that, and you'll never find an helmet vendor that does hang stuff outside because rotation of the helmet when you are falling is the key to save your life. So you spend 300 and something to stick like a Christmas tree the stuff on your helmet, and later on you risk an injury. Think about it. Think. I'm not telling you what is right or what is not, but think on that way because I don't see nobody talking about it or thinking about it. There are tons of solutions with Bluetooth headphone that there are also the headphone done for the helmet. And so if you have something and you need to use Bluetooth and put that receiver somewhere, have you never seen a pilot having stuff on his own body? They do have cameras everywhere, but it's all on the bike because if they fall, follow the bike. So same things. If you want the camera, when you go on track, where you put the camera on the helmet? No, you never. You'll put on the tank, you'll put on the dash. Doesn't matter. Everybody does have his own preferences. But think, what are you doing? You spend 600 euro for an helmet and you risk for that. Anyway, that is up to you to think about it. But if all other vendor like Schubert, the BMW kind of line, Nolan, whatever, is integrating that, Shoei as well, there is a reason. So just challenge your own thinking and think about it. You can have whatever protective gear you want, but if you put the keys into your pockets or stuff close, you are going to have a trouble because first of all, you don't have a Kevlar inside the pockets. Secondary, it's close to the hips. And if you have a tank in front of your groin, you're already at risk of an injury there. So you don't want to amplify that. I've seen people hanging the key around. It's not a good thing for another reason. The leg is having a lot of artery, big blood vessel. So if you get injured there, you don't have a time to wait for the service to come over and save you. So the things that you want to avoid is actually to be full gear, and just for that place a key of 10 centimeters close to your groin, because at the groin there is that artery that you don't want to cut. It's the same reason why in self-defense, if somebody is having a knife against you, you don't want to use the leg, because you have too many chances that if they slice you, they cut you there. So it's not smart. Think on your way. All the motorcyclists always had a bandana on the neck for two reasons. One was to avoid insect or whatever based on your bike, because if you are in a sport, for example, you don't have that problem. But that bandana was also an help if you got injured to close a leg or an arm and to avoid the blood flow to go. Now nobody uses it anymore. But if you are on the side of a street and you ride solo and you don't have nothing to close, what to do? You use the belt, probably. You have other situation, but think about these things too. And the reason why what you wear is important is because it's with you. And so, what's the point to have a phone on the handle bike? If you have an accident that is crashed for sure, which phone do you use? I mean, it doesn't list if you drop from the table. Do you think that after a motorbike accident, you are on the side of a road, you can't move, and you have the phone kilometers away, broken? So you need to hope that somebody find you. And if you have your bike that finish on the grass, they will never see you. And so have a phone. If you want the phone on the bike, have a second burner phone with you. And if you can, keep it in a position that doesn't injure you if you smash with. If you spend money and on all your gear, protect the rib, because in 2021 you have a lot of jacket with rib protector. I see everybody doing a lot of conversation about other protection, not the rib. It's not the problem the rib that break. The problem is if the rib get into your lung. And so the rib protector is way important, costs nothing. It's 25, 30 quid one, and they are moldable. And so we never had it when we were young, all this kind of stuff. And now I see that everybody does have the most trendy things, like airbag without even the back protector if it doesn't open, but they don't have a rib protector. And stop to use those short gloves. I never seen short gloves in my life. What is this trend of short gloves? When you have short gloves, when you fall, is obviously sliding and leaving you cutting here. Here, the wrist is the most important for vein. If you cut there, isn't good. And so, is an aesthetic. You don't like the long one because is not cool and is a lot to store. Is 10 centimeters more of leather, and you have a strap to close it, and that strap to close it so high is to be sure that it doesn't go away when you are sliding, because the instinct wants that the first things that you put is the hands down. And so stop to use short gloves if you really care, and stop to use also big watches there, because first of all, when you drive you don't see it, so what's the point? But if you have a big screen watch on your wrist, when you have an accident it will push on your wrist, And wrist is the first things that you should look after in motorbike, because actually you save your life with your wrist flexibility and with your forearm. Because if you think all function in motorbike is based on that. So it's the reason why you need to work on strength and flexibility. Forearm is the one that everybody forget about. It's cool when you have a big biceps, but you suck in motorbike if you don't have a strong forearm, because it's the one that save your life. And actually, if you have too much muscle on the forearm, you risk also the air pump. And the air pump is one of the biggest problem in motorcycle, because it means that when you continuously pump, you could have the muscle pushing, and you lose the strength. So I'm a bit tired to watch all these video giving to newbie wrong suggestion. Wrong in my opinion. But I try to mention the reason why I don't like something. And it's not the typical conversation between new generation and old generation. And it's not the conversation about you have a custom and so you don't I drive sport bikes. I drove everything, and I love everything because each is having a reason for. But it's how you drive also based on your body, because you express yourself when you drive, and so your body need to be right. It's not the horsepower only. The horsepower is based on the experience, how much you know. And another thing that is spooky, but is here and here that I see over and over. If you have a partner and you love it, why you follow up trying to let her or him, I don't know. Anyway, to hold behind. What do you have as a girlfriend? Hulk? There is no way the triceps of a woman can fight against a bull like a motorbike of 250 kilos. So the first things that you lose on an incident in a bike is the back of a bike. And so your passenger will be the first one to feel like the floor is missed. And she will follow the bike. And so all these amazing girlfriends that think that they are so strong to just keep the in this position, they can hold the motorbike is unbelievable. But it's more unbelievable the driver that let them to do it, because it means that also the driver doesn't know physics. Because if your girlfriend is behind and stay with a straight back, you are creating space between the driver and the passenger. And she does Pilates probably, but she can't hold air, because if you are in a motorway, for example, the air go and push her, and she will never make it even closing the legs. So doesn't matter what you drive. If you love your passenger, make it stay forward and close to your back. Don't let the air to come between. You'll never make it to save her. Because seriously, even Hulk can't make it. Go on a motorway with an enduro and at 140 stay chest out and tell me how you feel. And you are cheating because you have an handlebar in front of you. And so you are like a windsurfer holding the sail. It's not what she will feel. And so if you drive a motorbike and you don't care about your girlfriend, leave her at home. And if you have a girlfriend that insists that that is her position, it's probably the wrong girlfriend. And I talk for experience. So she never fall. But I never understand why we are always thinking that that is the right way to do stuff. It's just that those kind of habits, like the camera on the other things. It's serious business with motorbike. You risk the life. And so it's not only what you wear, it's trying to avoid to actually use it. You want to buy the protection to keep it new, untouched. And so you need to think about all this stuff. Exercise the forearm, trying to get the passenger always close to you. If it's a sport bike, makes sense that she hold the tank typical position with the hands in front, because like that she is having power like you with the handlebar, and she is capable to push and pull based on how you brake and what you do. But more than everything, if you push the bike, she is close to you, and so she will follow what you do, not what you are doing to the bike, because you risk that she is holding the bike and you push the bike away, and so you are pushing your girlfriend away too, and she will stay under the bike most of the time. So try to always think before. I really love bikes, but I see so many wrong advice are silly things. Do it, enjoy, doing safety. Your brain need to be connected to the wrist, but it's really important that you stay relaxed on the bike. If you are tense, you can't drive, because even if you drive a car and all the time you stay tense in this position, you'll never be okay. You need to drive and feel the bike. It's the reason why everybody does have preferences, because they feel the bike in a different way, and everybody does have a different style. For example, I do tend to keep the front of the foot on the foot peg, because if I need to push the bike away, I can do it. But is general preferences that is coming also from track day habits, because you don't want your foot to finish under the foot peg when you go down, if by mistake the angle is too much. So everybody does create his own style. Doesn't You can't find a course that will teach you your next style. You can find courses that give you the basic on the balance, the weight distribution. Those are really good money, well spent. If you spend a lot of money on the bike, you don't buy the right equipment, you are wrong. But if you also don't buy a good course, you're wrong too, because the driving license is not going to teach you that kind of stuff, or at least I've never seen a country that does. Probably some could, I don't know. But I hope you enjoyed the video. But look after whoever is in your bike, look after yourself, and try to think. A phone in your jacket could save you sometimes if you are on the side of the road. And if you are not driving solo and you drive in group, be extremely careful to follow up what is in front of a group, and not just copycat what who is in front of you does. Because first of all, the experience of the one that you have in front can be different. The the room on a side as well, because I saw groups that are too compact. I don't like to ride in groups, because I think you should have your own style driving, and you need to have room to express. I always ride only with few friends around, because I do trust, but never watch their stop only. Obviously, you need to be aware when they brake, but uh, do your trajectory. You could have somebody that is more experienced than you and try something that you can't do, or you can find some other trouble. Okay? Take it easy. Thanks a lot. I hope you enjoy it. Feel free to comment down below and subscribe to the channel, and you'll get notified when new content will be released. Thanks a lot. Bye bye.